Greetings, friends, and welcome to Now Hiring, our podcast about trends in staffing, recruiting, and talent. I'm Andy Weiss, CMO of Seipel, and I'm joined as always by Seipel's founder and CEO, Samira Penakalapati. In this episode, we're going to dive into AI. Yes, we're checking the AI box, but I've been spending more time playing around with AI tools in the marketing and content creation and data space. I know, Samir, you've been playing around with it and exploring some things across a wide spectrum of areas. And curious, kind of as you spend more time with these LLM models and tools kind of evolving, what's your current kind of feeling of the efficiency and capabilities of what we have at our disposal today?
Yeah. Look, AI has been at least talking about it, exploring about AI adoption into specific to the staffing, talent acquisition, talent automation industry. It's been for 5, 6 years now, right? But
Mm-hmm.
the last 1, 2 years, the whole game has changed now because especially when the Chat GPT came into force and then Google Gemini got into now they these models have trained with large volume of data. They're trying at different segments and sectors and categories and stuff. They're very powerful today, right?
Yeah.
So that elevated the whole game of AI and building platforms around on those LLM platforms, right? So now we are seeing you're not just making an incremental up on the AI enhancements. Now we are seeing the complete game changer on and bringing some of these new capabilities and new tools built around these long platforms.
Is it you said game changing? Is the expectation that these are still going to be game changing type advancements, or we're seeing like this week Apple rolled out its new iPhones and talking more about Apple Intelligence, and I know Microsoft is rolling out Copilot in a lot of its Microsoft Office applications. Google's doing the same thing with Gemini. Like, is it becoming more mainstream, or is the expectation that this is going to be game, truly game changing in this kind of bright shiny object kind of thing?
No, I think it is real. And the capabilities of the existing AI platforms built on applications built on those large language models is real.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like some kind of a fancy. No, this is real,
Yeah.
right? I mean, I think you're going to see a lot more. It always reminds me that in 2010, 2012, that time, a lot of people were building apps on iOS and Android platforms, right?
Yeah.
And every app was the people used to think that building a tech company is really an app, right? So you're actually seeing a lot more of a very similar situation that a lot of the people are building apps on LLMs, really, right? These are apps on apps. And some of these apps are very powerful, but based on these LLM platforms. So I think there are a lot of things that would change.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them get disrupted completely because they becomes irrelevant now, given these new capabilities of these LLMs and apps. But some of them new apps comes into it that would enhance what it is existing today. But really, if you think about it, right, I just want to say it, right? If you're an enterprise platform, like we have like CPAL, like you have
Yeah.
Workday, SAP Success Factors, all these large enterprise systems that does do a stream of things from end to end, right? Then you would enhance these enterprise platforms with the building in the AI apps on top of that. It's a huge advantage for the users and the customers who have these platforms because they can really appropriately enhance their automation and their intelligence and the dashboards tremendously. Like that's not incremental, it's like
Mm-hmm.
just a leap and bounds of change now, right? That
Because it's constantly learning on what you're doing.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, exactly. And also that the power of these trained models, then that intelligence they produce, it's not incremental. Right? They're already training, and these LLMs were funded like tens of billions of dollars, and then these platforms are very powerful. And no one single company can build LLMs and train models,
Mhm.
and with such a volume of data, is almost impossible to do it. I mean, it's not impossible technically, but financially.
So I'm not going to go out to my garage and build an LLM and no.
Yeah, you because look, I think that if you could build a model,
Yeah.
anybody can do it programmatically. You can build a model, But I think the model is only as good as you have trained the model with a large amount of data, and with a large amount of use case scenarios. If you don't have those data and the use case scenarios defined and train them, it's not much useful. There's not much helpful. So these are become very popular because they're trained with troves of data, and then and type and models, and the troves of data and the use case scenarios. That's where it is today. So
Mhm.
it's tough to do that today.
Yeah.
But
So we got really deep into kind of some technical stuff. I want to kind of zoom back out a little bit to, from the perspective, talent and staffing and recruiting. As I'm kind of thinking about, hey, AI, I joked at the beginning of this episode, we're checking the box from a podcast standpoint, but as a staffing firm, I should everyone's telling me I should probably be thinking about AI as well. Like, where do I start, or how do I know how to apply it? Like, what's the best place? Where does AI fit, or where should it fit? How should I be thinking about this, Samir?
if you're a staffing firm, right, the first point is, you are sourcing talent to your customers, right? How efficiently are you doing sourcing today, right? Now the sourcing has been tremendously up their game in terms of, with the AI automations. Like, you are finding candidates, you are integrating, you're finding a match of the candidates, and you ranking candidates based on your various number of skills. So you can almost infinite combinations you can find, and you can find those a good set of candidates. You're looking for first top, first 10, first 20, whatever the set of candidates. Then you could really spend your time, your recruiter's time, to really look into these candidates, and actually spend a meaningful time connecting with those candidates and understand their needs are, and then understand your client needs are, and can actually map it. But all the background stuff that can be automated, and you can compress the time, and 90% of the time compressed. Then you have a lot more time, you really
Okay.
humanly engage the talent. And then, by doing that, you also build your reputation, your brand, your recognition. You are bringing, because see, a lot of people have this perception that AI will become inhuman, there will be less human touch. Actually, my argument here is, hey, you do some of this stuff that you compress your time to, compress 90% of the time, then you could keep more time and engage the candidates and actually build more human touch than less human touch.
So I want to double click on that, because I think that's an important point an insightful point that you're making, that we're not, this could very easily turn into like this Stanley Kubrick 2001 Space Odyssey HAL 9000 kind of world. But your argument is, hey, that's not the ideal application, like especially in this space where it's a human business, that AI can free you up to focus on the human pieces and use the technology to do the mundane routine stuff, and you invest in the relationships and building value in your business. And that may be a way to use the technology and AI to be a differentiator for you. Is that fair?
Absolutely, absolutely. Because, you would, at the end of the day, you would reduce the number of touch points with the prospective candidates for things that's not very important, like, asking some basic questions for qualifications, getting, exchanging calls between the two candidates, and trying to spend your time and browsing through candidates that's not a good fit, or you just keep searching for different set of candidates or different set of sources of the talent that's bringing into the
Mhm.
organization. All of that stuff can be automated now, right? But then you would actually spend time with the candidates, understanding their needs are. And if you or the staffing firm can able to, tighten up your talent automation systems and give your recruiters more time with the candidates, because now the candidate that spend with your recruiter has a better experience, because the recruiter not only is spending time, but they also have more knowledge about the candidates, because you got the
Mhm.
summary of the candidates, the match the candidate skills map to the job description. So there is some meaningful points that why candidates should consider working with your
So
firm. All of those things really enhance it. It's a time. That's how the staffing firms can differentiate themselves and get more business and create more value to their customers, than just operating like anybody else.
So should I be going, as I'm thinking about this, like if I'm running a firm, should I be going all in on like trying everything, or should I be like testing different things, like leaning into it, like playing around with it? Like
Yeah,
what's the kind of the right roadmap in terms of getting adoption? Because it's
yeah.
one thing if you make the decision that, hey, as an organization, we're going to use this tool or this approach, but then how do you got to get adoption within the organization, and there's a lot of change management that comes as part of this.
Yeah, no, it's like I give you an analogy like a kid walking into the candy store. There's so much of it. It's like that. There's so many tools out there in the market. Focus on what can you want, or like what's the most your organization benefit from this, right? But I think it's important that it's not that the account manager, it's not that the back office, front office managers really looking forward. It's a buy-in from the CEO to
Uh-huh.
the line managers. Everybody should get into it and then sit down and find what's our business priorities, what platforms out there that would create the best value for our business, and that's how you should start from there. The commitment from the top down is a key. If they don't have commitment, then you are like walking a kid to the candy store.
So okay, so we've got the how to not turn AI into a sugar induced kind of stomach ache. I love it. I love it. But let's say you're kind of a middle manager in one of these firms. How do you go? How would you go about selling AI into senior leadership, or the head of your organization, kind of getting some adoption there?
It's a good old business, Andy. Really, right? It's
Yeah.
not about, okay, have this great feature. This no, no. People wants to hear, okay, how this helps to get more business, how I
Hmm.
helps to get more clients, how I can do more placements, how I can build a better pipeline. You pick these three, four the major objectives of the organization, because all of them helps to grow the business.
Yeah.
Then you map whatever that you're planning on introducing to the organization. So map where this problem, this tool, this system helps in this 4 or 5 identified business objectives, and then bring this. By doing this, we can create 30% more pipeline with the same money we're already spending on job portals or third party sourcing portals. Or and said, we could create a more submissions to this customer in this quickly, because this platform gives a better recommendation, have a better matches or better communication channels. So as long as you got to do this mapping, when do the
Yeah.
mapping and go to the CEO or the president of the firm or whoever the decision maker in the organization, right? They get it. Once
Yeah.
they get it, and you get the buy-in, and so
Okay, so we're
to
so
map it.
we're building things out in terms of showing results. We're avoiding stomach aches. We're using the AI and technology to keep this business human at its core. So, Samir, we've covered a lot of ground in
Yeah.
this episode. So, everyone, be sure and check out our other Now Hiring episodes on Spotify and YouTube. Also, sign up for our newsletter, and we invite you to extend the conversation on our new Slack channel. And until next time, we'll see you later.